The rain fell in sheets, blurring the city into streaks of neon and shadow. Elena Rivera's fists clenched around the crumpled documents in her hand as she stared up at the glass tower of Valentine Industries. Everything she had believed, every moment of hate she had nurtured for Adrian Valentine, felt suddenly meaningless. Her father's downfall. Her family's ruin. She had spent years convinced he was the enemy, the man who destroyed everything she loved. And yet, standing on that rain-slicked street, staring at the man himself, she realized she didn't know the truth, and she wasn't sure she wanted to. Adrian Valentine emerged from the building, calm, impossibly poised, his sharp eyes locking onto hers. "Elena," he said softly, but the weight behind the single word made her chest tighten. "Why?" she demanded, voice trembling despite herself. "Why did you let my family burn? Why did you let me hate you?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "Because some truths are more dangerous than lies. And now," he added, stepping closer, "those lies are about to catch up with you." The wind howled, tearing through the street, as lightning illuminated the storm in her heart. Elena's hatred, her fear, her longing, they collided into a single, inescapable truth. The man she swore to despise might be the only one who could save her, or the one who would destroy her completely. And in that moment, she understood the cruelest twist of all. Sometimes the person you hate most is also the person you can't live without. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more thrilling stories. They first met in the worst possible way. Elena Rivera stood in front of the towering glass building with her resume crumpled in her trembling hand. That building, Valentine Industries, was the empire built on the ashes of families like hers. At least, that's what she believed. Because when her father's company collapsed and their lives spiraled into chaos, all fingers pointed to one man, Adrian Valentine, the ruthless billionaire who never lost. So when Elena landed a job there, she promised herself one thing: she would hate him. Hate him until the day she walked away with everything she needed to destroy him. But then she saw him. Adrian wasn't the monster she'd imagined. He was calm power wrapped in devastating elegance. Sharp eyes that noticed everything. A voice like velvet over steel. And when their first conversation erupted into sparks and tension, she felt something dangerous flicker in her chest. Weeks turned into a blur of arguments, stolen glances, and battles neither of them wanted to admit they enjoyed. Adrian challenged her. Protected her when office politics turned vicious. Saw through every mask she wore. Every time she said she despised him, her heart whispered a trembling lie. He wasn't supposed to care either. Yet Adrian found himself drawn to her courage, her honesty, the way she could look at him and not be afraid. For the first time in years, she made him feel like more than his money, more than his mistakes, more than the legacy of a ruthless empire. One night, under city lights that glittered like fallen stars, the tension snapped. "I should hate you," Elena whispered. "Then do it," Adrian breathed back, stepping closer. "But stop pretending you don't feel anything else." She didn't step away. He didn't either. When their lips finally met, the world didn't just fade. It shattered into something intoxicating, forbidden, impossible to control. But happiness was never part of their story. The next morning, Elena found an envelope slid under her apartment door. No name. Just a seal she recognized instantly. Her father's old company logo. Inside were documents. Proof. Cold, devastating truth. Adrian hadn't destroyed her family. Someone even closer had. Her chest tightened. Her world spun. And then her phone vibrated with a message, an unknown number. "If you love him, stay away. If you don't, tell him the truth. But be ready. Because Adrian Valentine isn't the only one keeping secrets." Her hands shook as she deleted and rewrote the message she wanted to send him. Her heart screamed to trust him, to stand with him. But betrayal hovered like a knife. Later that night, Elena stood outside Adrian's penthouse door, rain soaking through her clothes, tears stinging more than the cold. She raised her hand to knock. And inside, she heard a woman's voice. Laughing. So intimate. Her blood ran cold. "Adrian, if she finds out what you did, everything will fall apart." Silence. Then his voice, low, broken. "I know." Elena froze, breath catching in her throat. What was he hiding? And which truth would destroy them first, hers or his? Elena's heart thundered painfully against her ribs as she pressed herself against the wall beside his penthouse door. Rainwater dripped from her lashes, mixing with the tears she refused to admit were falling. What did he do? Who was that woman? Her fingers trembled as she slowly, silently turned the handle, only to realize it wasn't locked. Of course it wasn't. Adrian never imagined danger would come from someone who cared. She slipped inside. Warm light pooled through the penthouse, casting shadows along marble floors and glass walls overlooking the storm-soaked skyline. And there he stood, Adrian, shoulders tense, expression unreadable. Across from him sat a woman Elena recognized instantly. Isabella Lauren. Heiress. Strategist. Adrian's rumored shadow partner. And the woman who ruined more than one life smiling beautifully while doing it. Elena's chest tightened. I warned you, Isabella said coolly. Feelings make you weak. If Elena knows your part in the scandal, there won't be a war. It'll be a massacre. I didn't cause the scandal, Adrian snapped, voice raw. I tried to fix it. Elena swallowed hard. Scandal? Fix it? What did that mean? Isabella tilted her head. Intentions don't erase consequences. You covered things up. You protected the wrong people. If she sees the documents... Elena's breath hitched. Documents. The same ones delivered to her. Adrian closed his eyes, jaw tight with guilt. I couldn't destroy the person responsible. Not without destroying her too. The words slammed into Elena like lightning. Isabella leaned closer, voice dropping. Then what happens when she discovers the truth about her father? Silence. Elena staggered. Her father? Her world reeled violently, but before she could think, her elbow hit a sculpted vase. It crashed to the floor. Both heads snapped toward her. Elena! Adrian breathed. The room stilled. Her lungs burned, her heartbeat roaring in her ears. Is it true? She whispered, voice painfully fragile. Did you know what my father did? Adrian took a step toward her. Elena, please listen. She stepped back. Did you know? His silence was louder than any confession. Her chest fractured. You let me hate you, she choked out. You let my family break. You let me drown in lies just so you could, what? Protect his legacy? Protect your reputation? It wasn't like that, Adrian said desperately. If the truth came out back then, you would have lost everything. I was trying to... Save me? Her laugh was sharp, broken. You don't get to decide what ruins me. Thunder roared outside, shaking the windows. Isabella stood, smoothing her dress with icy calm. This is exactly what I warned you about. Stay out of this, Adrian snapped, never breaking eye contact with Elena. Please. Just let me explain. Elena, he whispered, stepping closer again, softer now, as if every word carried weight. Your father didn't just make mistakes. He did something unforgivable. I tried to undo it. I tried to protect you from the fallout. Everything I've done, everything, was to keep you safe. Her face crumpled. Then tell me, she whispered. Tell me what he did. Adrian hesitated. Too long. Her heart shattered. I can't, he finally said. And that broke her more than the truth itself. Tears streamed freely now. Elena shook her head, breath trembling. Then I can't stay. She turned. Don't walk away, Adrian pleaded, voice cracking. If you leave now, others will get to you first. People who want you hurt. People who... But the elevator doors closed before she heard the rest. By the time she stepped into the storm, lightning tearing across the sky, a black car was already waiting across the street. The same unknown number flashed on her phone. We warned you. Now it's too late to choose sides. Get in the car, Elena, or lose everything you have left. Her fingers hovered. Rain drenched through her clothes. Her heart pulled in two directions, toward the man she wasn't sure she could trust, and the truth she wasn't sure she could survive. Slowly, she stepped toward the car. The back door opened. A familiar voice spoke from inside. Elena, we need to talk. She froze. Her breath stopped. Because the voice didn't belong to Adrian. It belonged to the last person she expected. Someone she thought was gone forever. Elena's hand hovered over the car door, drenched fingers trembling as thunder rolled overhead. Rain poured like knives, soaking her hair, plastering her clothes to her skin. She took a cautious step closer, and then froze completely. The voice that had reached her from the back seat, it was unmistakable. Elena! A gasp caught in her throat. Her heart stuttered. Her mind raced. She knew that voice. It belonged to Lucas Rivera, her father's former business partner, and the man she had mourned, the man who vanished without a trace the night everything fell apart. He was alive. And judging by the cold glint in his eyes as he sat in the car, soaked but unflinching, he was not the same man she remembered. "Elena, you shouldn't be here," Lucas said quietly, voice low but edged with warning. "They're watching you. All of them. Valentine included." Lucas, her knees threatened to buckle. "Alive? You disappeared years ago. My father—" "I know what you've learned," he interrupted sharply. "And I know what Adrian told you. But you don't know the whole story." Her gaze snapped toward the penthouse. Across the street, shadows moved in the corners of the rain, unidentifiable figures lurking as if the storm itself was hiding them. "Elena," Lucas said again, urgency cracking his voice, "get in the car. If you stay out here they'll—" She froze, torn. Adrian's face haunted her mind, his desperate plea, the unsaid truths, the secrets that had shattered everything she thought she knew. "Why should I trust you?" Elena demanded, her voice trembling despite her attempt to sound strong. "After everything, you left us to burn. You left me." Lucas' jaw tightened. "I didn't leave you. I was forced to protect you. To protect the truth. Your father's mistakes weren't the end, they were just the beginning. And if you stay, you won't survive what's coming." Her heart pounded, trapped between two truths, Adrian's secrets, Lucas' survival, and the documents that had started this storm of lies and betrayal. Lightning split the sky. Rain stung her eyes as she weighed her options. Step into the car and follow Lucas into the unknown, or risk staying and facing the unknown that waited in the penthouse, in Adrian's eyes, in the woman Isabella's shadowy warnings had hinted at. Slowly, her hand inched toward the car door handle. And just as her fingers grazed the cold metal, a deafening gunshot cracked through the storm. Glass shattered. Screams echoed. The world seemed to tilt sideways, throwing her balance into chaos. Lucas grabbed her arm. "Get in. Now." She stumbled into the back seat. The door slammed shut just as another bullet tore through the windshield, narrowly missing them. Adrenaline surged. Rain lashed against the windows. Her chest heaved. And through the chaos, a single thought burned like fire. Her eyes darted to the street, to the penthouse, to the storm, and she realized she hadn't seen the last of him. Not by a long shot. And as the car sped off into the night, shadows following close behind, Elena understood one horrifying truth. Nothing, and no one, was as it seemed. The car's tires hissed across slick streets, rain blurring the neon lights of the city into streaks of gold and red. Elena clutched the edge of the seat, knuckles white, heart hammering. Lucas drove with precision, calm in a way that terrified her. Every shadow seemed to stalk them. Every street corner held the promise of danger. "You need to understand something," Lucas said finally, breaking the tense silence. His eyes never left the road. "Adrian isn't your enemy, at least, not entirely. And neither am I. But there are people, powerful people, who've been manipulating everything since your father's company collapsed. Your father's downfall, it wasn't just bad business. It was planned. And your family got caught in the crossfire." Elena swallowed hard, her mind spinning. "Then why hide from me? Why let me hate Adrian? Why let me think everything was his fault?" Lucas' gaze flicked to her, sharp. "Because you weren't ready. You wouldn't have survived the truth. And because someone is still hunting you. Someone who doesn't want you to know what your father really did, or what he discovered." Her stomach dropped. She thought of the documents, the mysterious message on her phone, Isabella's warning. Every secret they'd hidden from her now felt like a ticking time bomb in her chest. "Where are we going?" she asked, her voice trembling. Lucas glanced at her, expression unreadable. "Somewhere safe for now." "But Elena," his hand gripped the wheel tighter. "You need to decide what you're willing to risk. Because the moment we stop running, you'll have to face Adrian and the truth he's been keeping from you." Her heart lurched. Adrian. Even through the storm, through fear and betrayal, she couldn't stop thinking of him. His eyes, haunted and pleading. His touch, burning into her memory. She hated how much she still wanted him, even as doubt gnawed at every corner of her mind. The car took a sharp turn, plunging into an alley. Suddenly, a black SUV appeared behind them, headlights blazing. Lucas swerved, barely avoiding the collision. "They found us," Lucas growled. "Hold on." The chase was on. Rain lashed against the car, the tires skidding dangerously. Elena clung to the seat, fear and adrenaline mixing into a dizzying cocktail. Through the rearview mirror, she caught a glimpse of the SUV pulling alongside them, a man leaning out, gun raised. Lucas swerved again, throwing them into a narrow side street. Elena's heart skipped. "Lucas, we can't outrun them forever." "They don't need to know where we're going yet," he said, voice grim. "But when we stop, you'll have to face what you've been running from, including Adrian." Elena's chest tightened. Face to face with Adrian, and the secrets he carried. She felt torn in two, fear and desire, hatred and longing, all wrapped into a knot that threatened to strangle her. And then, as the car skidded to a stop behind an abandoned warehouse at the edge of the city, Lucas turned to her. Rain drenched them both, but his eyes were calm. Terrifyingly calm. "This is it, Elena. We're safe for now. But what happens next will change everything." Elena's gaze fell to the ground, drenched in water and fear. Her thoughts flew to Adrian. To the way his voice trembled with truth he hadn't yet dared to tell her. To the warmth that had once melted her hatred into something dangerously close to love. And deep down, a single, terrifying question echoed. What if trusting him could destroy her, or save her? Suddenly, Lucas' phone vibrated. He glanced at it, eyes narrowing. "Elena, it's him." "Adrian," she whispered, barely daring to hope. Lucas didn't answer. He handed her the phone. On the screen was a message. "If you think you're safe, you're wrong. Meet me. Alone. Midnight. The old pier." Elena's breath caught. She knew the risk. She knew walking into Adrian's trap, or rescue, might cost her everything. But one thing burned brighter than fear, the impossible pull she still felt toward him. And in that moment, she made her choice. She would go. Even if it meant walking straight into the storm. Midnight hung over the pier like a heavy curtain, the waves crashing against the weathered wood, a storm still raging overhead. Elena's coat clung to her drenched body, her heart hammering not just from the cold, but from anticipation and fear. Every instinct screamed danger, but every heartbeat pulled her toward him. Adrian stood at the edge of the pier, back to the water, coat flapping in the wind. The city lights glimmered faintly behind him, but his silhouette was stark, commanding. When he turned, their eyes locked, and the world seemed to shrink to only the two of them. "Elena," he whispered, his voice carrying over the waves. "You shouldn't have come." "I had to," she said, her voice firm even though her chest ached. "You're the only one who can tell me the truth. Everything else, it's chaos. And I can't live in chaos anymore." He took a step closer, and for a moment, the rain didn't touch them. His eyes, fierce and vulnerable at the same time, searched hers. "The truth, it's not what you think. And it's not safe." "Try me," she said, swallowing the lump in her throat. Adrian's hands trembled slightly as he reached for her, brushing rain-soaked hair from her face. "Your father, he didn't just fail in business. He discovered something, someone powerful. He tried to stop it. He tried to protect you." Elena's eyes widened. "Protect me from what?" Adrian's jaw tightened. "From the people who've been orchestrating everything, your company's downfall, the attacks, even the threats to you tonight. Isabella, she works for them. And Lucas." Elena's head snapped toward Lucas, who had silently followed at a distance. His face was grim, unreadable. "Is part of a plan that goes deeper than you know. I can't tell you everything, Adrian said, gripping her hands tightly, "but you need to trust me." "After everything? After all the lies?" Her voice cracked. "How am I supposed to trust you?" Adrian's thumb brushed her cheek, a touch so tender it made her knees weak. "Because I've never lied about this," he said, his voice breaking. "And because, despite everything, I've never stopped wanting you." Elena felt the words cut through the storm raging inside her. Hatred, fear, longing, they all collided. Her walls, built for survival, began to crumble. And when he leaned in, his lips barely brushing hers, she realized something terrifying. She didn't want to resist. They kissed. Fierce, desperate, undeniable. The storm around them became insignificant. The only thing that existed was the fire that ignited between them. But then headlights blazing down the pier. Voices shouting. Gunshots. Adrian pulled back, eyes darkening. "Go!" he shouted, shoving her toward a small boat moored at the side. "Get out of here. I'll handle them." "Adrian." "Go." She hesitated, but Lucas pushed her forward. The boat rocked as she climbed in, engines sputtering to life. She turned one last time. Adrian stood at the edge, fists clenched, eyes burning with defiance, as shadows closed in around him. Her heart shattered. As the boat sped away into the darkness, rain pelting her face, Elena clutched the documents that had started it all. She realized that even though they were apart, nothing had changed, not the pull she felt toward him, not the desire that had grown impossible to control, not the dangerous truth they both now carried. And then her phone vibrated. The single message. "This isn't over. Neither of you will survive unless you fight together. Midnight tomorrow. Pier 9. Elena stared at the screen, rain dripping down her face, heart racing. She knew what she had to do. She had to go back. For him. For the truth. For the love that had turned from hate into something impossible to control. Because nothing, no storm, no betrayal, no danger, could keep them apart. The screen went dark. The wind howled. And in the distance, lightning split the sky. Their war, and their love, was only just beginning.